more aggressive in its initial response of the derailment of its own trains on February 3rd. They absolutely did not handle themselves appropriately when they didn't show up for the community meeting, EPA Administrator Michael Reagan told ABC News on Tuesday afternoon.
Digital collection of electromagnetic nanocarbon from the river, from water, from the area we call running water, streaming water, whatever.
Following a press conference in East Palestine, Norfolk Southern said that its representatives did not attend the February 15th town hall meeting in East Palestine due to concerns about the growing physical threat to our employees and members of the community around this event, stemming from the increasing likelihood of the participation of outside parties. Outside parties in there. There's like 4 or 5 people that went. There were no outside parties in there because people still don't know what's happening, if they can be there, if it's safe or not. When you still have people showing up in full hazmat gear while at the same time telling residents it's perfectly fine to drink the water, bathe with the water, cook with the water, live in your home, but you're standing outside in a hazmat suit telling them that it's safe. Okay. Here's the thing. Once you have gone somewhere for OSHA or EPA or whatever, and it has been deemed safe, you don't need to keep showing up in full hazmat suits if it has been deemed safe. So why are they still showing up in full hazmat suits if they're saying that it's safe? Okay, so there's that. I have that question too. Let's see. When asked, the EPA administrator returned to the tiny village, that's what they're calling it now. They keep diminishing what this city is. They keep making it seem smaller and smaller and smaller so that when you think of it, you're like, oh, well, the impact isn't that great. It's just...
The impact is about 30-mile radius all the way around. So...
It's a tiny village. It's 5,000 people who have lives there, who have homes there, who have businesses there, who have lived there their entire lives, raised children there, have grandkids there. It is not just some tiny little village or a little speck on a map. It is still a place where people live, okay? The EPA administrator returned to the tiny village in northeastern Ohio on Tuesday to meet again with affected residents, speak with officials, and tour a newly opened health assessment clinic, which we already deemed yesterday as a crock of shit inside a church, where it was just a health behavior, whatever that crap they called this person. They didn't test anything. They didn't do any kind of blood work. They didn't do anything for you. They just wanted to see how your mental health was doing. And even then, once you told them, they gave you a pat on the back and said, well, keep an eye on that, and then sent you on your merry way. So it says here, when asked whether he believes the headaches, sore throats, and other ailments reported by residents are related to the derailment, Reagan told ABC News, we just don't know, and I don't want to speculate. What I want to do is assure people if they are experiencing an adverse health impact, seek medical attention, and hopefully that information will make its way to the county health officials. Really? Okay. Reagan also had strong words for Norfolk Southern during Tuesday's press conference, saying that, announcing that the EPA is ordering the Atlanta-based rail operator to conduct all necessary actions associated with the cleanup from the East Palestine train derailment. Norfolk Southern will be required to continue cleaning up the contaminated soil and water and transport it safely. It is still contaminated, so continue cleaning up the contaminated soil and water. Didn't they say, like, I know we've gone over this, they said the soil's fine, that they already got rid of the soil and the water's perfectly fine. You can drink the water, bathe in the water, do whatever else you want with the water because there's no issues. But here, they are going to make sure they stay to continue cleaning up contaminated soil and water. And then reimburse the EPA for cleaning services and attend public meetings at the EPA's request and share information. If Norfolk Southern does not comply, the company will be ordered to pay triple the cost, according to Reagan. Y'all, it all comes down to money. They may comply because of the money it would take to not comply. When asked by ABC News why the EPA waited almost 3 weeks to make demands, Reagan said that state officials had the primacy of leading the response. Let me be crystal clear. Norfolk Southern will pay for cleaning up the mess they created and the trauma that they inflicted on this community and impacted Beaver County residents. I know this order cannot undo the nightmare that families in this town have been living with, but it will begin to deliver much-needed justice for the pain that Norfolk Southern has caused. During the meeting, I expressed our concerns and expectations regarding the cleanup effort. Conway said, I was assured by both that we will not be alone throughout this process and have their full support. After the meeting, I am confident that we will receive the help we need. You know what? You better hope you do, because this is a jumble. So here is... This picture was taken by a drone on February 9th. If you guys can see this here, that's February 9th. So they have the railways cleaned off technically. They just shoved everything left and right and are going from there. That I wanted to.
I'll just point out something cool while I can. Um, oops, okay, on a very large image that we can't get the eyes of, these are the nostrils, that's the nose, and this is the mouth down here, and this is the chin all in here, this huge face. I'm going to crop them right around there. There's a very large face. His eyes are going to be up here. I might bounce back up to his eyes, but my camera would not be able to get the whole thing in it anyway. But you could with your eyes. Of course, it's image with an image, so it's eye, nose, mouth down here with that face as well, this one. But I just wanted to point out, a lot of times you'll hear me say, you can look right up the nostrils of these images. This is one of those. See the face? You can see his whole face. And then, of course, that's another image. His nose, too, is another image. I just didn't want to start pointing it out when I'm just trying to show you that. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's the fucking most amazing thing you've ever seen in your life.
Just mention that to you guys. I have issues with everything that's happening right now, and the fact that none of it seems. Nobody's taking a damn bit of responsibility, honestly. You've got EPA pointing fingers at Norfolk Southern saying they didn't do enough. You have Norfolk Southern saying, oh, we don't know what happened. No, we can't tell you why the train derailed. We have not heard a single peep from the conductors of this train. It says that there were no fatalities from it, but are they dead and they just don't want to tell us? Because in a 50-car pileup, they should be, especially if there was a fire and there's all these chemicals around. But we have not heard a peep from anybody that was actually on this train. Generally speaking, you would have heard from the conductor or whatever else. Any other train derailments that I've seen, the conductor has said something, but there has been not a single word. They haven't mentioned the names of any of these people, just that there were 3 people on board, but they haven't told us who they are. We haven't heard anything from them about what happened, why they didn't stop the train when it was on fire 20 miles before it derailed. Nothing. Not a word, y'all. So that's that. Now listen, just really quick, I want to get over into this Dole food thing. So according to what I heard yesterday, somebody sent to me, I think Kim sent this to me through an email, that Dole cyber attack may be the cause of prepackaged lettuce shortage. There was a cyber attack on food giant Dole, temporarily shuts down North America production. But here's the thing. Everybody is under the assumption that yesterday Dole was hacked, or however you want to call it. Where is my... Hold on, I have an article here somewhere. Where'd it go? Here it is. Okay, so they're under the impression that this happened yesterday. But the cyber attack on food giant Dole temporarily shuts down North American production. This is an article that came out yesterday at 7:47 p.m. This is on CNN Business, the parts that I'm going to read to you right here. A cyber attack earlier this month. That's what you need to know. This happened earlier this month. This isn't new from yesterday. The reason we're hearing about it now is because people are noticing the lack of Dole products on their shelves, and they're questioning where their stuff is. So a cyber attack earlier this month forced produce giant Dole to temporarily shut down production plants in North America and halt food shipments to grocery stores, according to a company memo about the incident obtained by CNN. The previously unreported hack, which a source familiar with the incident said was ransomware, led some grocery shoppers to complain on Facebook in recent days that store shelves were missing Dole-made salad kits. Dole Food Company is in the midst of a cyber attack and have subsequently shut down our systems throughout North America. Emmanuel Lazapalos, Senior Vice President of Dole's Fresh Vegetables Division, said in a February 10th memo to retailers. Today is the 23rd. We heard about this yesterday, the 22nd. It's 12 days after the memo went out, which is however many days after they realized that they were under a cyber attack, right? Okay, so let's keep going. Dole has 4 processing plants in the U.S. and employs more than 3,000 people. After CNN published this story on Wednesday afternoon, Dole spokesperson William Goldfield sent CNN a statement confirming that ransomware was the cause of the incident. The company has notified law enforcement about the incident and are cooperating with their investigation. While continuing to investigate the scope of the incident, the impact to Dole's operation has been limited. However, 2 grocery stores in Texas and New Mexico, contacted by CNN on Wednesday, said they couldn't stock Dole salad kits on their shelves for days. Now, what I want to bring to you here, we're not talking about the grocery stores here. Where are we? Hold on. There's another thing here. In May 2021 ransomware attack by alleged Russian-speaking hackers forced JBS, the world's largest meat supplier, to temporarily close factories in the U.S., Canada, and Australia. JBS said it paid the hackers $11 million to unlock their systems. So according to this, less lucrative but still prevalent, Dole shut down its computer systems soon after the hack began to contain the spread of the ransomware, the source familiar with the incident said. Ransomware encrypts computers typically so that hackers can demand a payoff. The multi-billion-dollar company, officially known as Dole PLC, after a 2021 merger between Dole Food Company and Ireland's Total Produce, so Dole PIC or PLC, whatever, sources produced from dozens of countries around the world. Dole PLC uses email security software made by Fortinet, a popular California-based firm that contracts with U.S. government agencies and corporations alike. For Dole PLC, any downtime will put a spoil on revenue for the food industry leader. It's unclear what role, if any, Fortinet's software had in detecting the cyber attack on Dole. CNN has requested comment from Fortinet, but has yet to hear back. Now, what I want to mention to you is what I found. I think I took a screenshot and saved it because I wanted to show it to you. Where is it? Okay, I don't know where it is. Dole was actually having financial trouble right before all of this happened, and I want to find where it was so I can tell you exactly what I am talking about, but I don't know where it is. I have too many links opened up in here. Y'all, I just gotta say, there is so much going on right now that it's absolutely ridiculous with what is happening, not just in our country, but the world. We still have to talk about the Nord Stream pipelines being just completely destroyed and how that plays into everything, because it definitely plays into everything. Where is the picture that I had? Y'all, I can't find it. I swear I took a screenshot and now I don't know where it is. Is this it? Hold on. Okay, so here it is. So I want you to know that in 2022, Dole released a sustainability report. Where is it? Dole PLC announces sale. Okay, so January 31st of this year, Dole PLC announces sale of its fresh vegetables division to Fresh Express. Fresh Express is the ones who make the packaged salads. They also are the ones who had a huge thing last year with salmonella, I think, is it, or listeria, which one of the two, where a lot of their salads were pulled off shelves because they were making people sick. So that was January 31st. And then they reached a stock purchase agreement somewhere. Also January 31st, Dole to sell fresh vegetables business for $293 million in cash. So Fresh Express bought the Dole fresh vegetables business for $293 million in cash. When's the last time you heard of anybody sitting around $293 million in cash just chilling that they could just pick up and hand over? And who does it in cash? You pay for it in cash because it's a way to get it for cheaper all at once, and then you accept the cash because you have a lot of debts you need to pay off, and waiting for monthly payments on something that is not a cash transaction would take way too long. So keep that in mind. Now, February 1st, it says the Deutsche Bank adjusts Dole's price target to $17 from $15 and maintains buy rating. And then February 22nd, Dole experiences cybersecurity incident, but it was not on February 22nd. It was sooner than that. But okay, here it is. At the end of 22, Pale Fire Capital SE agreed to acquire an unknown amount of Dole stock. And the way I took this pic, it messed it up, so I can't really see exactly what it is. But Pale Fire Capital Southeast, or SE, they are a Czech Republic company. So now this Czech Republic company owns part of Dole, fruits, vegetables, whatever you want to call it here, that also now part of Ireland owns. And now they've sold some of their stuff off to Fresh Express, which I don't know who owns that or where that is. But this Czech Republic company, they also have a hand in Groupon. They've made a purchase into Groupon, so they're in there. But they also are part of some firmware in the Czech Republic. Also, I have to find that for you guys. But it's funny that in the end of 2022, part of Dole is purchased by Pale Fire Capital SE, who also happens to be part of some firmware something somewhere. And at the beginning of February, Dole is under some weird cyber attack. It's just like this weird little circle there that I thought was interesting and you guys might want to know about. But if you are looking for Dole products or fresh market products or whatever, you're going to see less of them on the shelves. And Dole isn't just packaged salads, bananas. I went to Publix yesterday and I noticed there were a few less bananas, which normally you see the Dole sign on or signal on or sticker on, whatever, and a couple other fruits and vegetables that were lower than normal. And now I'm thinking to myself, those maybe were coming from the Dole processing plants here in America. So that's that. Listen, I know it's a lot. I know it's a whole lot. And hopefully you were able to stay with me because my mind works in really weird ways. But hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying about all of it and that you see how you can't just look at you can't just see the what is the phrase? You're not seeing the forest through the trees. Don't only look at the tree. Try to look at the entire forest because that's where everything is really happening. The tree is just that little front piece that they want you to see that is either the beginning or the end result. It's everything that happens behind it that matters. It's like if you picked up a book, you're not going to read the very last page and go, oh, that's great. You're going to want to know what led up to that last page. I want to know what led up to the derailment in East Palestine. I want to know what led up to the explosion at the metal manufacturing plant. I want to know what led up to that plane crash, the CTEH plane, which is technically that not Monsanto, that whatever other company's plane. I want to know what led up to the fire at the uranium plant in Tennessee. These are the things I want to know. I don't want to know just what happened. I want to know why it happened, and then I want to know what happens after it. I want to know the whole thing, not just that one little piece, because that one little piece is nothing without the before and the after. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's that. Listen, I appreciate the crap out of all of you for being here. Like I said, I'm not a reporter. I'm not a journalist. I'm just somebody who wants to know more. So I'm trying to figure it out. And
Gonna try to bounce around a little bit and look around. I think the last people. Yeah, this guy sucks too. So Russell Brand has this fucking space alien guy on, talking about the orbs and shit like that. I mean, again, that's why I don't trust these people. They seem very mainstreamy, and to be throwing around space alien nonsense and outer space nonsense alone, I just don't trust them. So Russell Brand gets thrown right in there, and same thing with this guy from Redacted. I mean, it seems like twice a week they're doing some kind of report on fucking space nonsense. You know, it's stupid, man. It's a waste of fucking time, and it's a distraction, and it's not true, and it's not real, and it's not what they told us it is. So that's what pisses me off. So I'm gonna keep looking around. There was a lot of good. There were a lot of good videos playing throughout the last couple of days, and I wrote a lot of people down. The Rising, the show called Rising. They should call it The Rising, but it's just called Rising. I'm gonna press play on this video while I'm still looking around. Okay, so here's this girl again. Here's this girl again, and it's a different video. So let's check. See
so
what
in
she
the
said.
schools, the children can't drink the fountains, and then on private wells around here,
Okay.
here being East.
No, I already heard that one too. Let's see. George Galloway. Just gonna keep going here. Yeah, and the show The Rising. Okay, let's listen. I'm already 10, 11 minutes in this. So this is redacted Clayton Morris. So I just made the other series on the Michael Oziak channel. And again, by the middle of his video, it's only a 15, 20-minute video, if that. And by the middle, he's already selling something. So, first of all, to anybody that's doing that, it just doesn't seem right when things are so bad. So in other words, if you have to sell shit to stay in business or do your business, don't you be doing it. Even I noticed Candace Owens was doing that, and there are other people doing that. It really sucks to think that you try, and there's lots of reasons for it. Like even the Canadian prepper and stuff like that. I don't know if he does commercials or if he's selling things of his own. I've never seen him stop in the middle of a video to sell something like Clayton Morris and these guys are doing. Um, it just seems wrong. For example, they're getting all the preppers to get ready, right? It doesn't make any sense. You're gonna go. Everyone's going out and getting chickens. You're getting out chickens at a time when you should know if you went and read the books or if you paid attention. You're not gonna have any chickens. You can get chickens, if you can get chickens, I should say, but that's not going to last you very long because you got the bird flu coming out. So it's going to be mandatory that everybody kill their chickens. No one's going to be allowed to have chickens. They're going to use the bird flu to do that. Same thing with eggs. Even eggs, they're not going to be there like they have been. They're doing all these things in every industry, every culture. It's total breakdown of society being purposely perpetrated. And we should all know this, but we want to stay keeping going with our bullshit stories. We want to be distracted, and it's not a good idea. It's not.
On the turnpike, you don't. Your vaccine status. Let's talk about this. So,
So
the World Health Organization.
he starts talking about, in this one, he's talking about the 15-minute cities. Now, again, this goes back 30, 40, fucking 50 years that they started implementing these ideas and programming us with the ideas. And I'll say again, I used to print up the entire agendas of the United Nations agendas, and I used to hand them out to my family. And a lot of the things that were in there had to do with what they called smart cities. Now today they're calling them 15-minute cities. They're calling them 15-minute areas. Couple things about that. The first thing is, a friend of NASA put out a moon photograph, several of them actually, like 9 or 10 of them, and I did videos on them. And while I was making the videos and while I was looking around in them, I found several things in them, moon photographs that didn't belong, which is pretty incredible. And they're very small. They're very tiny. I'm gonna go back and look for them. I think it'll be fun for me to do. And it's the 15-mile-an-hour speed limit sign that attracted me, because when I seen on Clayton Morris's video here, he's got a 15 with a circle that goes around and back onto the top, like type thing, and then it's in a sign. And that's one of the things that they put in that fake moon photo. Now the rest of the moon photo was real. The images all matched, everything was correct, but there was just these several things. There was many things. I don't remember exactly how many. Maybe a half a dozen. I'm gonna try to go through them. All right, there was one of those, a tiny little body imagery of a little type of I'll describe it as like elf, real tiny looking type thing. But the body image was there all the way down to like its knees. I'll try to find that one. But he was holding his penis. He had a penis in his hand, is what it looked like. And I never went back to that one, but I know I've never seen it on any other moon photograph or video or anything that I've ever seen except for that one. Then another one was it was a backwards money sign with one line going through it, I believe is what that one was. So yeah, it was a backward S with one line going through it, something along those lines. That was the other one. And then there was some kind of a cross or something of that nature. There was something like that that stood out to me too on that one that I've never seen on any other one. So there's half a dozen or more, because I didn't continue looking at it either because I didn't want to waste my time. Once I found the fakery, when I spot fakery, even if it's just digital fakery of something being cut and pasted, I don't even want to be bothered with it. I already consider it having too much human influence for me to be bothered wasting my time with. I'm going to play again on the video up top. Hopefully you're seeing this. The imagery is really banging. I can't believe how shitty my channel is. How nobody is on my channel. It's really weird. for what I'm showing you guys and from what I'm explaining to you and showing that you can go see for yourselves, it's really strange. I mean, two or three people that are watching my videos every once in a while will get maybe another 10 that pop in. And I'm just assuming that when the numbers go up to that many people watching my videos to, let's say, 15 or 20 people, then a lot of those people are agents. But the few that are not agents, that you guys that are real people, I mean, you have to, if you're seeing what it is I'm showing you, then, I mean, you should feel comfortable enough to remaster my videos of my research videos. Don't bother remastering the remasters, because you'll break the pixels down too much and they'll come out shitty. But I mean, I can see this. This is unbelievable. I mean, this video, it got 6 views on it. This one right here, 6 views. So is it a matter of nobody wants to crop? Because I mean, look. I mean, if I go around and crop for you, I'm sure that's better, but I'm showing you how to crop. It's better if you do it yourself, because if this was your own video that you took outside your own house, right above your own roof, and then you go out and post them on your channel, and then you go back and crop, it'll really sink in a lot faster than just going by what I'm doing here. And I'm doing things in a simple way so that there's no trickery, so that you don't feel like there's anything suspicious going on and you can go do it for yourself. So, in other words, I'm not doing anything digitally, as little digitally as I possibly can. This is a piece of cardboard in my hand. I'm not taking a digital something or other and going down the screen now, because I don't want to confuse anyone. Because you can see all this with your own eyes. You don't need to I'm explaining the reasons why it's difficult. It's difficult because everything is collaged. You, as a human, see everything is up, down, left, right, backward, forward, in and out. I'm gonna hit play, and you've been programmed to think that. So that's why I'm explaining to you that human programs that have fucked us up. We can see the reality and the true creator all around us. We can see the false creator slash creator's work and how it all works all around us. We don't need these liars anymore. We really don't. And if they don't come around, and that's another thing. Any out of you 2 to 4 or whatever there is that are real people watching my videos, I mean, take this shit to the people for me. Take this to the people that I'm calling out, so that they can't lie and say, "Oh, we didn't know." You know, Candace Owens. If anyone has any faith in reality, then you should be able to say, go on her channel and just write a message. She's on Instagram or whatever every fucking day. So someone can go on there and say, this guy, Mike Oziak, made a series to you. Half of it is on the Michael Oziak channel, half is on Miguel Everyone channel. Maybe when you got time sometime, take a look at it. The guy's a dick, but it seems like what he's saying, you might want to look at it. Or whatever, something along those lines. I don't understand why that doesn't happen. And then even with this Clayton Morris has been tagged now for, I don't know, 5 months or 4 or 5 months or something like that, that I put that I labeled his series. So I'm not even finishing his series because I'm so aggravated by his salesmanship. And they seem like nice people and everything, but the whole salesmanship, man, when you're on the verge of a total reset or even a possible partial reset, and the reset's been taking place for the last 50 years, but yet everyone's pretending that it's going to happen someday. Fuck me, man.
For global vaccine passports. At the same time, they are pushing for global pandemic powers through what's known as the CA Plus treaty that we have been discussing here on the show. And God, we get a lot of emails from you guys. So I read your emails every morning. Many of you, hundreds of emails that you send, and you're saying, please, please do not let this happen. What can we do, Clayton, to stop this treaty? What can we do? And I think, at the heart of it is really letting your elected officials know you do not want to have anything to do with this. That's one way. Flood their office with calls. That's one way for them to know.
No, what you do is you come to my videos and listen to what I'm explaining to you all, so that you can see the true creator for yourselves. And then you will never believe any of this nonsense ever again. You won't even the politics, you won't even believe in any of it anymore. It'll all go away. and you'll have a reality to base your life on rather than all these falsities. That would be the way to do it. I don't know that anybody's going to do it that way, but if everyone woke up at once, we might be able to save the system. Because then you wouldn't listen to anyone anymore. You'd have to know that we'd be starting all over. And I got a head start for that too. I got a head start for starting all over. It's really not. In other words, living without zero and living without infinity is easy. It's not a big deal. You're just gonna think that it's hard because you've been programmed to think that zeros and infinity are based on some reality, on your science. And really, they were put there to hurt us real bad. And then now we got the computer generation coming in and taking the true creator's work and the false creator and slash the false creator slash creator's work as well, because they don't use zeros or infinity either. So for humans to be using zero and infinity, what a huge misstep that was. And then we use it in everything. If we're temperature, if we're taking temperature, we have zeros in the math. If we're a clock, we have zeros in the math. Any kind of science that we use in medical industry are all basing things on math that uses zeros and infinities. It's so silly. It really is. So everyone's gonna have a hard time with that. They're gonna think this is fucking nuts. What is he talking about? But believe me, it's a lot easier than you think. And take zero and infinity out of the math is so simple. It's just silly how simple it is. And the zero and infinity, you're going to see to mean nothing. Nothing to us. But as these guys want to continue along with their computer programs and all their computer nonsense, it's all garbage. So let them continue on with it. Let them keep their zeros if they want to. And you just ignore them. Throw your fucking cell phones in the garbage once you all realize at the same time what this all is about. And then you're to get rid of your computers. You won't need them anymore because you're not going to believe any of the lies they tell you anymore. You're no longer going to pay billions of dollars a year in taxes to pay NASA to do fake astronaut fucking landings on their spaceships, and you're not going to pay Elon Musk billions of dollars a year to be doing his fake ass launches to Mars with a fucking Tesla car and all the garbage that you guys spent money on. And me too, because I was involved in some of it in my earlier years as far as going along with such nonsense. But come on, man, we're all old enough now. We're gonna fuck our kids real bad, but if we continue going along with all these lies.
You know about it. They want to win re-election. If they know that their entire constituency is pissed off about this, that's one way. So this pandemic treaty gives the WHO, the World Health Organization, power to declare and manage global pandemic emergencies. Now, this would mean that they could mandate lockdowns, vaccine mandates, vaccine supplies and distribution, and monitoring and surveillance of populations. The WHO began the meeting to work out the draft of this treaty on Monday. And we're going to be looking for the results of that meeting when it...
Again, something else that we all known all along, and we've let it go on for 40 years. We knew that the military, U.S. military, by the way, supposedly, but it was really coming from Germany and France and China, and everyone was doing it all together. But the computer systems, the Internet of Things, and they were using it against us long before. And we think too small because we think that it's happening on these lines that are going over, and then we even think that it's happening on from antenna to antenna and the cell towers and all that kind of stuff. Then we believe in freaking satellites that they're we another thing we give billions of dollars a year for to launch satellites into outer space. I mean, it's also stupid. Outer space is not what we were told it is. So yeah, they might be putting up a certain amount of camera equipment up at high altitudes, but they were always doing that. They had balloons that used to do it. Now they're running on electromagnetic current, so they can run them up around the outer atmosphere. But I tell you what, no one's going past the veil. No one's getting past the veil. It's not what they told you it was. It's not. So, anyways, this shit's been going on for 50 fucking years. We've known that this is going on. So here's Clayton Morris. He's telling us right now about these things that are happening now and maybe coming in the future. No, man, they already started. They told us that they were going to track us with the internet. It was going to be a total. They made movies about it. They wrote books about it. 1984. All right? Everybody loves that book. They're always talking about it on Joe Rogan and different channels. Are always talking about the book 1984. I only seen clips of the movie, and I got the gist of what they were talking about, and that it was already happening, even since way back then. So now we're gonna again pretend everyone's on here, pretend what's going on, what's going. We got to get together, the preppers and these guys here. But while we're at it and while we're getting together, let me advise you because I'm making money off these guys. They pay me to advertise for them. But buy some gold, buy some silver, which is gonna, again, like I was saying about the chickens, it's gonna be totally useless. Okay, they have gold embargoes, right? So if you're collecting gold and silver and the president comes on, which has been done before in our past history, and the president comes on and says, okay, gold is now illegal, turn it all in, no one's going to have any gold. You all think that you have the freedom to have firearms. 380 million, I think at last count, they think you're in the United States for guns. That everyone has guns. Okay, they're all chipped. They're all fucking chipped. If you think that you have a gun that's not chipped, I would guess it's probably down somewhere like in a couple thousands. In other words, there are probably still a couple thousand guns that are left around, and those guns that are left that don't have chips in them, no one has ammo for them. If they do have ammo for them, it has to be made in a special bullet maker that special for that gun or whatever. It's going to be some old fucking type shit, guns and everything. So I would just say, think outside the box when it comes to time of protecting yourself, because firearms and guns, you're better off not having them because they're all chipped, and you're going to be the first doors that they knock on and say, "Give us your guns." And because you're all law-abiding citizens and you don't want your family to be murdered, you will hand over your fucking guns, and they'll know how many you have and everything. And it's a little red dot on a fucking computer screen for these guys. All the cell towers are battery backup. So therefore, when they want to kill the power and kill the electricity for all of us, they will still have power, and they will be able to work off that battery power. There will be charging stations. There already are. They've been up since Obama. They all and the big cities, the small towns, the rural areas, everywhere you have these. Okay, so these backup batteries along with the smart lights that are everywhere. Well, on top of the poles, on top of these lights, are these little charging stations for drones. So you'll have your drones going all over the place. We've underestimated the drones because we all talk about the drones and say, oh, someday they're going to be so fucking small and be able to do all this. It's been that way for a fucking long time, man. I was working as a private investigator when I was a kid in my 20s, early 20s, and we already had camera pens that were really small. In other words, you could take the tip of the pen off, and the camera was that fucking small. They were tiny. You could plant them in anything and then drop it in somebody's apartment or something like that, as long as you could get it back. And it was amazing what you could get. And that's why you watch the laws happen like they did with the cameras. At one time, you could never have a camera running at a school, right? You can't take a picture of someone's kids or whatever. But when you think about it, cameras are all over the fucking schools because all your vehicles all have cameras on them. The school itself has cameras in them. And they're cameraing the shit out of every telephone pole, fire escape, everything. Everything's got a camera on it. So we've already done it. It's not something that's coming and going to happen. There are other things that are coming to happen, but it's just all the other things are already going to be done. The big farms are going to be shut down. Factories are going to be sent overseas to China because China is going to be taking over as the new leading world power. Governments are going to sell out their people and to China. All these things, they've all been written about. They've all been talked about. The zombie slaves will be acting like they have blinders on, like they don't see it coming. They will be so programmed from today we call it misinformation and disinformation. We used to just call it what it is, programming. And that's what we program everybody using televisions, videos, YouTube like we're on now, whatever. And then they're sending everybody all to their own separate brainwashing backgrounds or whatever. So in other words, we're all being distracted, even by good people. Maybe Clayton Morris and his wife are nice people. Maybe they are real people, and they're just products of their environment. This other girl, Brianna and Robbie, really nice people. They seem good, but but I'm listening, keep listening to them for a couple of weeks, and I get aggravated here and there, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, why don't they see this or why don't they see that? They can see all these other things, but they don't understand that they're being tricked four different ways. They think they're only being one side is a liar, and then the other side is not a liar. Not all sides are lying, motherfuckers. They're all liars. So that's going to be difficult for everyone to come to conclusions with. But trust me, go look at the system. You'll have confidence that they're all lying to us.
On Friday. So many of you were asking, Clayton, what's the update on this meeting that started on the 27th? Well, it's still going on. So we'll have an update for you on Friday as soon as we have this information and what the answer is here. Meanwhile, they're also pushing for global vaccine passports through a series of proposed amendments to the international health regulations, which goes back to 2005.
Right, and then every time that over the years, because this is also something that's going on for 50 years, and we're going to pretend that the COVID is and I shouldn't have said the word, but we're going to pretend that this latest version is the bad thing that we did to ourselves. Nah, man. Again, they put up all sides, and all sides are liars. You had the autism rate jump up, right? And a lot of people blamed it on vaccinations. Therefore, people's voices were going to have to be stifled. So they put out two or three people that were famous movie stars, actresses, and stuff like that. Jane McCarthy, I believe, was one of them, and there was a few of them. And they put out this whole scam, and it was probably a send me your money type thing. And they're gonna figure this out and get to the bottom of it because the vaccinations are a little drastic anyway. Seeing we're pumping so much shit into our babies in such a short time period. On top of that, most of them are not even necessary. They have not been necessary for a long time because once you've gotten rid of a virus, a flu, a sickness, an ailment, and you've gotten rid of it, then why would you keep needing to keep taking the vaccinations? So it doesn't make any sense. You're not keeping anybody safe. You're just poisoning them at that point. So again, we've always been doing this. We've been doing this for a long time, and then people are getting upset. Also, he might mention it about the tracking and everything like that. They only need around your eyes. The facial recognition does not even need to be. You could have a mask on, and they can still recognize your face when you're going in and out of a store. You could have glasses on, and the computer's still going to pick you up because it's going to be really it's eye recognition. It's eye socket all the way into the pupil recognition. That's where they're getting the shape of your face from. Yes, the rest of the face would be nice to have as well too for their records to see what you look like, but otherwise the camera, the facial recognition, it only needs your eye sockets and your around your eyes. So if you're gonna go rob a store, you might be better off putting what is it called there, Hio silver away, mask on, an eye mask instead of a face mask that goes over your nose and mouth. But anyways, it's all been going on all along. So, we're all acting like, oh, we got to be ready for when this all happens. No, man, it's all done. You already missed it. You missed it for the last 40, 50 fucking years. So I'm trying to show you the system because we're running out of time. And we don't have time to keep arguing back and forth and going, yes, all this shit that seems suspicious, factories blowing up, putting farmers out of business for the last 50 years. We've been putting farmers out of business for 50 fucking years. So now all of a sudden everyone's waking up now that we're down to the last, you know, 20, 30 meat beef farmers in the United States. When we seen FDA coming in and shutting down hundreds of farms based on one person getting salmonella at some fucking farm in Massachusetts, and all of a sudden the entire country changes their beef laws to where they now can't go directly from the farm to the table. Now they have to go to a meat packing plant. So the meat packing plant can add whatever additives they want to fucking add as well. But in order to keep the meat alive longer, and then they have their rules and regulations in place so that it's harder and harder for the uh, farmers to feed their animals cleanly. A lot of competition when other farmers are able to feed their, you know, their crops or whatever you want to call them, their cattle. They're able to feed them using genetically modified foods that are going to make them jump right up. Same thing with the chickens. If you buy if you buy natural organic chickens from a chicken farmer, you will notice that they catch disease easier. They get like maybe like 15, 20 different strains of mites. They get dust mites, mold mites, fungus mites, scale mites. They get a lot of different mites, poor things. And I noticed that the chickens I buy from the from the chicken, what's it called? Tractor factory or whatever the hell it is, the farm supply places. They have options on their chickens. You can buy ones that have all the shots. And it's pretty amazing because they get these vaccines, and here I am complaining. The problem is that we don't know anything about them. We don't control them properly. It's all guesswork and going by what liars tell us. That's the problem I have with it. But there are some, just like right now, nobody's mentioning this. All the chicken people that I've been watching that are freaking out about the chicken, and they should. Unfortunately, no one's listening to them though. But because we're gonna have a hard time without fucking chickens, without eggs. I mean, they're they're for everything. You bake a fucking bread, you bake a cake, you bake this, you bake that. Everything's got eggs going into it. Breakfast every day has eggs in it. It's a routine for most people. You got scrambled eggs, over easy, side up, omelets, you name it. Eggs are fucking everywhere. They're a good source of protein. They're good, so if you're gonna starve out a society, then it's one good thing to get rid of is the